Hey everyone, and welcome to this Paw and Hand Project Explainer. Today, we're going to walk through the absolute essentials for bringing a new dog into our care here at the Annex.
So, first things first, let's talk about our mission. Everything we do, every single procedure, is all about supporting this one core purpose. It all boils down to creating a safe, stable home for these pets, so their owners can focus on finding that same stability for themselves.
So, what we're going to do is follow a new dog's journey from start to finish. We'll cover everything, from the moment they walk in the door to their daily routine, how we track their behavior, coordinate with volunteers, and then, tie it all back to the big picture. All right, let's dive right in. This first section is all about getting to the heart of why our standardized procedures are so important, the real why behind what we do every single day. Look, this isn't just about having rules for the sake of rules, not at all. It's about building a stable, predictable world for these animals who've just come from a really unstable one. For them, consistency literally means safety. It brings their stress levels way down and lets us give them the best care possible. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. The very first step, and it's a huge one. What happens the second a new dog arrives at the Annex? This part is so important because it really sets the stage for their whole stay with us. The very first thing we do, no exceptions, is create a pet face sheet in our database, Notero. Seriously, think of this as the dog's personal Bible for their time with us. It's our go-to for all their info, and it has to be filled out accurately and completely from the get-go. And you gotta understand, this is so much more than just filling out a form. Each of these sections is crucial. Knowing the specific feeding instructions, that prevents an upset stomach. Understanding behavioral triggers, that prevents incidents. Logging their personal items, that helps us make their favorite toy or blanket feel like a little piece of home. Every single detail here matters. All right, next up, the daily schedule. This structure is what keeps the Annex running like a well-oiled machine. And more importantly, it makes the dogs feel safe and secure. Remember, predictability is a total game changer for reducing their anxiety. So let's break down the morning. You'll notice we let them out one at a time at first. Why? Well, that's for individual assessment. We feed them separately. That's all about safety and making sure we know exactly who's eating what. Then comes supervised group play for the friendly ones. And of course, everything gets documented before the shift ends. The evening routine? Well, it's going to look pretty similar to the morning. And that's on purpose, right? We're maintaining that predictability. But the big difference here is that special window we have for our amazing volunteers to come in and provide all that extra enrichment. Walks, one-on-one playtime, you name it. Okay, this next part is, and I can't stress this enough, absolutely critical for making sure every dog gets the best care. How we document what we see is just as important as the care itself. What you write down has a direct impact on the very next person who walks through that door. So here it is, the golden rule, straight from our operations manual. All notes must be clear, objective, and factual. We're basically reporters here, not critics. The goal is simple. Anyone who reads your notes gets a crystal clear, unbiased picture of how that animal is doing. And here's a perfect example of what that actually means. Saying bad dog, what does that even tell us? Nothing useful. It's just an opinion. But saying a dog barked continuously in kennel for 10 minutes after feeding, now that is valuable data. It tells us what happened, when it happened, and for how long. That's info we can actually work with. And this is a big one. You have to complete your notes before you leave the building. Every single shift. This isn't something you save for the end of the week. The info is time sensitive. The next person needs to know what just happened, not what happened yesterday. It's all about safety and making sure the care is seamless. All right, let's switch gears and talk about our volunteers. These folks are the absolute heart of our enrichment program, so it's so important that we coordinate their efforts safely and effectively. So on the main volunteer board, we use this really simple color-coded system. It's basically a quick at-a-glance guide to a dog's leash manners. This is huge because it lets our volunteers pick a dog that fits their own comfort and skill level. It just makes the whole experience safer and way more fun for both the person and the dog. So you see, the board is way more than just a safety tool. It's our central hub for all things volunteer-related. It helps us make sure every single dog gets some love and attention, it lets us see who might need a little extra time, and it keeps everyone on the same page with training goals. It really turns a bunch of individual efforts into one big, coordinated team strategy.
Okay, so for our final section, let's bring this all home. Let's connect all these things we do every day, the paperwork, the cleaning, the schedules, back to our bigger mission. This is where the how we do things really connects with the why. You have to remember, every single note, every single feeding, every single walk, it all matters. Each one of these small, consistent things you do adds up to create this huge positive impact. That detailed note you write, it might just prevent a stressful situation tomorrow. That patient walk, it builds trust. It all adds up. So it kind of makes you ask, right? Why do we go into this much detail? Why are we so dedicated to following these procedures day in and day out? It's because this structure, this is what builds the bridge for them from total uncertainty to stability. Our process gives these pets the safety and the routine they desperately need. And that in turn gives their owners the peace of mind they need to heal and move forward. That is our mission in action. And that is why every single step matters so much.